Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right in, okay? I want you to imagine a single, completely silent number that literally follows you around everywhere you go. We're talking about a number that dictates where you can sleep, what kind of car you drive, and even how much you have to pay just to exist in the modern world. Today, we're going to crack the code on that exact number. We're looking at credit scores, the hidden rules of financial trust. To really grasp the sheer power of this system, let me share a super frustrating story about someone we'll call Sarah. So, Sarah finds the absolute perfect apartment, right? Tons of natural light, super close to her new job, the whole shebang. But when she applies, denied. Okay, fine. So then she tries to get a really modest loan for a used car just so she can commute to that new job. The bank flat out says no. You've got to ask yourself, why on earth was Sarah denied?
Both the dream apartment and that totally essential car loan ended in a massive denied. And here's the crazy part. The reason had absolutely nothing to do with her personality, her background, or how hard she works. No, it was entirely because a mysterious three-digit number attached to her name just wasn't high enough.
So, what actually is this number? Well, think of a credit score basically as a standardized financial report card for adults. Instead of grading you on, algebra or world history, it tells banks and lenders exactly how much they can trust you with their money. It's basically a universal metric of your financial reliability.
Now, here's a fun little fact. This trust system doesn't just apply to you and me. It actually operates on a massive global scale. Entire countries actually have national credit ratings to determine if they can be trusted to borrow money on the world stage. It functions exactly like your personal score does down at the local credit union. Pretty wild, right?
But bringing it back down to everyday people like us, this trust is measured mathematically. The scale usually ranges from 300 at the absolute bottom all the way up to a perfect 850 at the top. And as you'd probably guess, the higher you climb on this ladder, the more financial doors unlock for you.
Section 1. Why credit scores exist. The history of trust.
To really get why this number rules our lives today, we have to look at what the world was like before it was even invented. Imagine it's the 1950s. If you wanted a loan, you literally had to walk into a bank, look the manager right in the eye, shake their hand, and basically just hope they liked you. If they didn't, or worse, if they harbored any personal biases against you, you got absolutely nothing. That old system was terribly flawed and deeply unfair. So eventually, financial companies created a standardized mathematical system to judge everyone purely on their financial habits, trying to completely remove that personal bias from the equation. Which brings us to Section 2, the math behind the score, how it is calculated. So how exactly is this all-powerful number calculated behind closed doors? Well, it essentially breaks down into a few main ingredients. The biggest piece of the pie, and honestly the most critical factor by far, is your payment history. That is closely followed by the second largest slice, which the industry calls your credit utilization. I actually like to call that massive payment history slice the lawnmower rule. Think about it. If you borrow your neighbor's lawnmower and bring it back broken, or like a month late, you are never getting it again. Banks operate the exact same way with your credit card bills. If you pay late, they lose trust in you, and your score drops instantly. Okay, so the second piece is credit utilization. That just means how much of your available money you actually use. Let's say you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit. If you max it out and spend $990 every single month, the banks look at that and think, wow, they are desperate for cash and on the very edge of going broke. Your score goes down. But if you only use, say, $100 and pay it off right away, banks see you're highly responsible and boom, your score goes up. Moving on to Section 3, the hidden credit trap, everyday gatekeepers. Now, you might look at all this math and think, well, this only really matters if I'm trying to buy a massive house, right? Wrong. This system acts as a secret gatekeeper in your everyday life. Landlords are checking it before they let you rent an apartment. Cell phone companies are checking it before giving you a data plan. Sometimes even employers check it before they decide to hire you. It's constantly being monitored in the background of your life. And honestly, here is the real kicker. Even if a bank does decide to lend to you when you have a low score, they will trap you. Sure, you might get approved, but you are going to be heavily penalized. They'll charge you much, much higher interest rates for the exact same car or house than they would charge someone with a high score. This built-in penalty for a low score perfectly highlights a deeply frustrating reality of our financial system. It is literally one of the hidden reasons why being poor is often more expensive. You are paying a premium day in and day out simply because your financial report card isn't pristine. Let's turn things around in Section 4, Mastering Your Credit Score, How to Fix It. Okay, so if you've ever checked your own financial portfolio and realized your score is terrible, the absolute first rule is do not panic. Much like recovering from a sudden stock market crash, you can completely bounce back if you approach the situation calmly and strategically. A bad score is not a permanent tattoo, it's just a temporary reflection of your recent financial habits.
The absolute fastest path to recovery involves two very strict steps. Step 1, never miss a payment. Even if you can only scrape together enough to pay the absolute minimum amount due, you make sure it happens on time. Step 2, keep your debt low. Remember, debt is a double-edged sword. Used wisely, it builds your credit and helps you thrive. But used recklessly, it can lead to total disaster. So, looking at all these strict rules and hidden traps, you might logically be wondering, should I just cut up all my cards, stop using credit entirely, and never borrow a single dime again just to be safe? Well, the answer to that is not really. See, if you never borrow money, you have absolutely no financial history. And if you have no financial history, it means banks have zero proof that they can actually trust you. In the eyes of this system, being a financial ghost is almost as bad as being a known risk.
Ultimately, you have to play the game responsibly to master the system, which really leaves you to look at your own wallet and ask yourself one vital question. Are the financial choices you're making today actively building a trusted history, or are they silently erasing your future?